Hi, my name is Mary. I'm a compulsive eater and I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet. I write it down, committed to my sponsor or someone else with 90 days of back-to-back gray sheet abstinence. I don't eat in between meals no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing in my life today. And I'm abstinent today by the grace of God and the fellowship of this community. And my abstinence date is April 25th, 1995. And I chose to speak on step one. And I have to tell you that when Kay's getting to the part where, okay, it's time for the speaker, my heart's going boop, 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 boop. And I said that to somebody one time and they said, Mary, it's just God shaking the truth out of you. So here's my truth. Step one, we admitted we are powerless over food and our lives had become unmanageable. And I like to say when I qualify, for me, the most important word in Gray Sheet is the first word in the first step, that I don't have to do this by myself. And I am so grateful that I live in the solution today. And so I have this Gray Sheet 12 and 12 that I've had since I got abstinent. And I said, well, if I'm going to be abstinent like forever, like what am I thinking? Keep it in the day forever. I went out and bought myself a leather cover. Okay. Because I wanted to keep it, at least the cover should be neat, because the inside is definitely not. Because so I was thinking, like, what should I share about step one? You know, if there was no step one, I would not be here. But I have to tell you, I'm powerless over food. And I didn't even know I was powerless over food. I didn't know that if I put certain things into my body, it set up the phenomena of craving that I can't stop, because it wasn't since I was a small child. I think it was because when my body started changing, and I'm a person of a certain age. So at that time when I was growing up, junior high and high school, it was Twiggy and hot pants were all the rage. So I'm like, how come I don't look like them? So that's when I started dieting. And I would give up certain things, lose a certain amount of weight, and then reward myself with the same things that I just gave up. And there went my weight back up. Hello. You know, I didn't realize to get from A to B, there was a consequences. So in preparation for this, I looked in the big book at all the references to step one, and nothing kind of grabbed me. So I said, let me go to my 12 and 12. So I'm just going to read to you the lines that I underscored. And it's the first sentence, it's first question, like, who cares to admit complete defeat? Like, who? All I know is I did pretty much every diet in the book before I got here, except for the pregnant urine thing, or pregnant women's urine. You know, I've heard about that and that like freaked me out. I'm glad I didn't get that, you know, that bad, so to speak. And then I flip to the third paragraph. It says, our admission of personal powerlessness finally turn out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. That gave me hope. That definitely gave me hope. And then in the next line, the second sentence says, until he so humbles himself, his abstinence or sobriety, if any, will be precarious. So I am truly humbled by this disease. It had me by the neck, on my knees, by the throat, whatever. And like I said, I tried all the diets and it just got worse and worse and worse. And then the sentence, it says, the principle that we shall find no enduring strength until we first admit complete defeat is the main taproot from which our society has sprung and flowered. So that's why Gray Sheet works, because I admit complete defeat. I cannot eat like anybody else, but I can eat like you guys because you told me how to do it. You told me how to do it. It's 3 weighted measured meals, nothing in between, black coffee, tea or diet soda. That's it. And that's the bottom line. And I grew up in the New York community, and I would go to meetings, I'd raise my hand, I would cry, and I would say, but, and they go, no buts, Mary. just weigh and measure your food, okay? Go to meetings, make your phone calls, do all the things that we suggest. And it says, our sponsors declared that we were the victim of a mental obsession so subtly powerful that no amount of human willpower could break it. Listen, if I didn't have God in my life, I certainly would not be weighing and measuring my food. I give all glory to God because, but I wouldn't have God if I wasn't abstinent. It's almost interchangeable for me. You know, I got abstinent. I mean, I had a God my understanding before I got abstinent, truly did. And then I said, being abstinent, it's like having a relationship with God on steroids. It's like, woo! You know, I would sit, and before I could get out the door, I would have my meditation books. And if I didn't, in fact, in my first 90 days, if I didn't read the 24-hour day book before I left my house, it's like that old V8 commercial. I was walking sideways. It's like, oh, I should have had a V8 because I didn't set the tone for my day. I didn't set the tone like, God, you go before me. I'll bring my weight and measured food, and I'll bring my scale and my cups and my spoon, but you have to go before me. It says the tyrant, oh my God, my eyes are going. The tyrant alcohol or sugars and carbohydrates wielded a double-edged sword over us. First, we were smitten by an insane urge that condemned us to go on eating or drinking, and then by an allergy of the body that ensured we would ultimately destroy ourselves in the process. Few indeed were those who, so assailed, have ever won through in single-handed combat. So when I go into combat in Gray Sheet, I have all of you. I have this is the Gray Sheet version of the Hollywood Squares here. I have all of you. And I take all of you with me. Whenever I'm in a situation, I know there's a huge community. And there's also someone who's gone through whatever I may be going through. Someone has gotten through it abstinently. And I'm here to swear, no one has ever died of abstinent pain. But I can tell you, I have felt like I was going to die from abstinent pain. You know, the person who brought me into Gray Sheet, when we broke up, oh my God, I never prayed so hard in my whole life. I remember one time I was so upset, I couldn't eat my dinner. And I called my sponsor. She said, Mary, set your alarm for an hour, lay down, just, you're too upset. And I got up and I was able to eat my dinner. So my sponsor, you know, wealth of information. So it was a statistical fact that compulsive overeaters or alcoholics almost never recovered on their own resources. I can't do this by myself. I cannot. Much less desperate alcoholics or compulsive eaters tried Gray Sheet, but did not succeed, but because they could not make the admission of hopelessness. So when I got here, I had done the research. I'd heard somebody said, sometimes people come in and they've already hit their bottom and they get it, and other people haven't hit their bottom yet and go back and forth. And that's whatever your path is. So my path is, I was done, D-U-N, done. And perhaps you're not a compulsive overeater after all. That's what happened. I went to a meeting and I called up a GreySheeter and I said, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, thank God she didn't say, do some more research. She said, well, Mary, just for today, just weigh and measure your food. And thank God I did that because I was definitely done. And let's just see what else. And under the lash of alcoholism or compulsive eating, we are driven to Gray Sheet. And there we discover the fatal nature of our situation. Then and only then do we become as open-minded to conviction and as willing to listen as the dying can. We stand ready to do anything which will lift the merciless obsession from us. And before I got abstinent, that noise in my head, where to go, what to eat, constant. And as soon as I got abstinent and put my food on a scale and in a cup and put the fat in that tablespoon, that noise stopped and has stayed stopped. But it's not just, okay, here you go. Here's the gray sheet. You're on your own. I got suggestions how to get through those no matter what. Take a bath, take a shower, take a walk, make a phone call, sing, laugh. You're depressed, laugh. It's hard to be depressed when you're laughing.
That's 10 minutes.
Really. Okay, I have 5 more. Okay. So, oh, gosh, this program is so important. It makes me emotional because it works. It works because I work it. I make sure my butt is in a meeting every day. I do service. I've done service on all levels, as you all know. And maybe don't know. I've gone from booking meetings, treasurer, secretary, to the chair of GreySheet World Service, and did that willingly for 3 years and gratefully. And that service is my insurance policy. By me doing service, that's my Geico, that's my Allstate. That makes sure that I stay abstinent, because I can't do service unless I have not at least 90 days of back-to-back gray sheet abstinence. So I've gotten through many no matter what's in the 25 plus years that I've been abstinent. Unemployment, I was unemployed for 5 years. And in that time, I got married to my wife, who's now my wife. And we got married in 2012. And a week later, we found out she had breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy that October. And a week later was New York City Roundup. I left her that first day. And when I came back, I had somebody with her. And she said, don't do that again. I said, no problem. I will be there on Sunday. A week later, Hurricane Sandy hit. We had no power. Luckily, I have a gas stove, so I was able to make my food. And it also threw that relationship into menopause, side effects of tamoxifen, and chemo brain. So I used to go to meetings and say, the woman I married is not the woman I live with. It was tough, but I knew that if I weighed and measured my food, that she would come back. And she's back, thank you God. Unfortunately, it took 5 years, but time is irrelevant to me sometimes. It's like, everything happens so quickly. And if I keep my eyes on the prize, which is peace of mind today, and what has happened in 2011, I got a formal meditation practice. I learned transcendental meditation. I meditate 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon every day, as if my life depended on it, because it does. My sanity depends on it. And but there's so many things that I've gotten through, and it's really just keeping putting gray sheet first. Putting my program first. Sometimes, and thank God I do have a supportive wife. And we did a Zoom meeting the other day with the family on the 31st. She goes, come on, let's get on, let's get on, let's get on. And I go, yeah, we got plenty of time. Meanwhile, I said, I got to get on this meeting. She goes, oh, gray sheet, you get on plenty of time, but the family one, you couldn't get on. I said, I have my priorities. What can I say? So anyway, it's a gift I give myself every day. I give it freely to all because I can't keep it unless I give it away. I just want to thank Kay again for your lead, Taisha, our spiritual timekeeper, and Jillian for asking me to speak. And I'm just so grateful that I live in the solution and we do this together. Thank you so much.